And thank you for showing up and supporting this announcement. We also want to welcome special guests. We have members of the Sullivan County Commission with us today, Mayor Venable, members of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, Mayor Shull, and there's too many people to name, so I'm not even going to attempt. But we do appreciate each and every one of you being here today, and it's an honor to be with you. We'd like to welcome our first guest, who is the President and Managing Member of Whole Properties. They are a full-service retail real estate company that has approximately 16 million square foot that they service. And make welcome Mr. Jim Holt.
What an entrance. There's a loop cord, and they said one thing earlier, Mr. Rose said, don't hit the loop cord. Do I remind anybody of President Biden, maybe? I'm a little younger than President Biden, so thank goodness for me. Great to be here. You know, what an interesting mall. We bought this mall in 2016, and it was, you know, in terrible bad shape. And then in 2017, I was finding Mayor Venable had put it to me pretty good, and I had to try to make our way, and so we were able to do a renovation. And back then in 2017, they said, well, what tenants are you bringing to the mall? And I said, well, we're going to try to keep the tenants we got. And we didn't do that good of a job there. But, you know, it's really interesting about attracting tenants. And the way the mall used to look, I don't know a tenant. I wouldn't, if I was a tenant, I wouldn't want to go there. And I think everybody knows we've got a beautiful, lovely complex, and we're good owners. We're very disciplined. And that's an unusual thing. You can't be that disciplined if you're doing a downtown redevelopment. And because, you know, the private parties on both sides of the street, well, here we own the street, we own on both sides. And, you know, if you're not dedicated to being fully merchandised, if you're not dedicated to an aesthetically pleasing store and being a good merchant and doing things for your customer, frankly, we want you to go somewhere else, because this is not the place for you. And we're not in here for a day or a dollar. And, you know, this is not because we're philanthropic. Guess what? We're not doing this philanthropically. We're doing it to feather our own nest, but it doesn't make it any less true that we've figured out that good stewardship is the best financial strategy. And it sometimes takes a year, 2 years. It didn't happen overnight. Y'all can all remember the Fort Henry Mall in its heyday. It didn't happen overnight. You know, and we're not going to put the wrong tenant in here, but inexorably and surely, and it's always happened this way, we will get something here and then something there, and it builds on itself, and we will be a good steward of the property. What does that mean, being a good steward? It means a relentless pursuit of what's smart for the property. So we're going to do that. Now, as far as Mayor Shull, you know, he's a Hull with an S. My name's Hull. Mayor Shull's we're first cousins once removed. But the point about this is that, you know, he has got the community's interest at heart. John Rose, the whole Kingsport Economic Development Board, they have picked my pocket, and they've done a good job to match up with them where we can get this done. And so with that, and telling you how much I appreciate being here and how important this property is to me, and I'm determined we will be successful over the long term, and we haven't wavered one bit from that. with that, I'd like to call John Mulheron. He's like the political guy with us, okay? So, I've been like the guy to come in and just tell you what I'm thinking. He'll be very studied about what he says. But thank you very much.
I did take John Rose's advice. I didn't hit the loop court. No, very, very pleased to be here today. Very pleased to announce that the whole property group, we're going to make an almost $8 million new investment in the property. The investment we made, as Jim mentioned, in the renovation back in 2017 certainly helped us attract Dunham's, helped us attract NCG Theaters. We think this investment will attract a lot more here to the property. And what we plan on doing is creating the premier entertainment experience complex here in Kingsport. In discussing this project I'm going to announce in a minute with folks internally, folks in the industry, we were met with great skepticism. They said, you can't do that in a small market. No one's done that in a small market for a reason. The economics don't work. Well, we heard all that nonsense, and we took it to the city of Kingsport leadership, and the answer we got back was, let's find a way to make it happen. So with the board, the support and leadership of the board of mayor and aldermen, the Kingsport Economic Development Board, I'm pleased to announce today that Kingsport will soon be home to a standalone 7,000 square foot IMAX theater. I don't know if you can appreciate how big that is for a community this size. It took a lot of effort, and very excited to be able to do so. We'll be building the building out this entrance here. It'll be a 7,000 square foot building. It will be connected by an enclosed breezeway from the existing NCG Theater, so you walk in through here. It's going to be it'll house about 200 luxury reclining seats, and it will have the largest IMAX screen in production, which is 70 feet wide and 40 feet tall. To think about it, 70 feet tall is about to the ceiling on the upper level. And 40 feet wide is from the lens crafters over here back down into the corridor. It is massive. It's their best technology, and we're getting it here in Kingsport. The closest IMAX theater to Kingsport is about 150 miles away. So this is going to be a regional draw. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, exclusivity zones in IMAX portfolio of 25 miles. NCG Theaters is doing 3 deals with IMAX in conjunction with this one is the 3rd one, and the exclusive zones are 5 miles and 7 miles. So we're going to have a 25-mile radius around Kingsport exclusive zone. That means no other IMAX can come into this trade area. So this is going to be a regional draw. In addition to the construction of the IMAX theater, we're going to, NCG Theaters is going to do a massive renovation of their auditoriums. They're going to completely redo all of their seats and put luxury recliners. They're also going to do a major renovation of the concession area, which will then allow them to offer full-service beverage service. So that will be going on as well. Jeff Geiger, the president of NCG Theaters, couldn't be here, but he did want me to, his children are on fall break, and he has small kids, so he's doing that as he needs to. But he wanted me to give this quote. It says, the support of the greater Kingsport community since we opened the theater in 2017 has been tremendous and enables us to consider this investment. I'm confident the community will enjoy the improvements to the movie-going experience. When we started talking about an IMAX theater in Kingsport with Jeff, he got so excited about it, he did 2 others with their theaters, one in and one in North Carolina. So this was his 3rd. He's very excited. Now the important stuff, when? All right, so the scope of work is being finalized. We're getting the seats layouts, things of that nature. Architectural plans will soon be sent out to bid. And once that comes back in, we anticipate construction could begin the second quarter of '24 with a grand opening date of late first quarter of '25. So that's when we'll be starting that. Now, this construction is going to line up very nicely with some other construction going on with the large national retailer who purchased the former building occupied by J.C. Penney. They're going to do a complete renovation of that building, and they anticipate opening about the same time, second quarter of '25. So that's very nice to have that, coinciding with what we're doing. And we're also pleased to announce we knew that it's going to be a regional draw. We knew that it's going to bring some additional attention to the property. So we're also pleased to announce that we have a signed LOI and are working on the development of a multi-tenant restaurant out parcel out here. Ken Bates and Ethan and his wife, they're here. Ken Bates and his family look to construct and operate an Eggs Up Grill and a New York butcher shop. They're going to have room for one more restaurant opportunity in a 3-tenant, 6,300 square foot building to be built right out here at the Fort Henry Mall entrance. So we're really excited about that. So a lot of great things going on. We're excited for the Fort Henry Mall. We're excited about what it's going to bring. And again, I want to thank the BMA. I want to thank the KEDB for their support and their leadership. But specifically, I want to thank two folks, City Manager Chris McCart, and my direct contact here, John Rose with Economic Development. Without these folks, we wouldn't be here. And I really do appreciate Mayor Scholl and all your support. We wouldn't be here today without their support, and we can't thank them enough for that. So with that, I'd like to call on the City Manager, Mr. McCart.
Well, what a very exciting day for the City of Kingsport. I think that is represented by your attendance today. It never ceases to amaze me that when we have events like this, you show up. And my staff gets tired of me saying this, probably other folks do as well, but I will tell you this does not happen in other cities. This is part of who we are. This is our DNA. This is what makes us the great city that we are. It's my job to kind of say thank you, and I'm going to do that by recognizing multiple people. First, I want to extend my thanks and deep appreciation to Hall Properties. When they first took over this mall, they demonstrated to us what a very high level of quality that they are going to bring, very tight standards. And trust me, I have seen malls across this country go many different directions, and they have not always been positive. This group kept to their word, they held the line, and they continue to work with us to bring success. I also want to thank Ken Bates. Ken has continuously chosen to reinvest in Kingsport, whether that's through commercial or residential development, and we very much thank you for that continued development. I want to thank our Board of Mayor and Aldermen, who remains committed to economic development. It was one of my 5 pillars when I came to be the city manager in 2019. Continue focus on economic development. They have been lockstep with us the entire way. To the Kingsport Economic Development Board, which is led by Craig Dennison. I saw Craig here a few minutes ago. Thank you for continuing to be willing to pursue projects like this, for trusting in our staff, for providing support, for helping us understand the do's and don'ts that we need help guiding from the public sector into the private sector. To our staff, led by John Rose, he's assisted by Stephen Bauer and Paige Jeffers in our Economic Development Office. They have led this project. As you heard John Mulhern say, they have been lockstep throughout the way and just done an outstanding job. To Elaine Bodenweiser with KDB, Elaine does an outstanding job of keeping us straight on the numbers. To Joel Conkin, our Economic Development Attorney through KDB, Joel's always been willing to take a phone call. He's always been willing to help us through this. And for that matter, our entire development review team at the City of Kingsport, who sits and looks and works with countless developers and builders from the largest to the smallest to help bring quality development to our city. So to talk a little bit about the significance of what we're talking about here today, more than 25 years ago, we kind of set out on a path to have magnet projects projects that would not only draw people into our city, but at the same time attract and retain those that we have here within our city. When I look back at the projects that we've made investments in, there's been other retail investments that we've made, that we've partnered up with, but there's also been strong public projects such as the Meadowview Convention Center, the Kingsport Aquatic Center, the Academic Village, our investments into downtown to continue to draw people in there, but also at the same time investments into our future, such as what we most recently discussed with you all with the Academic Village. Today we shift our attention to another magnet project with the announcement of a public-private partnership that will bring new economic development to the Fort Henry Mall site and at the same time spur additional development around us. Can I say it again? We have now the region's only IMAX theater coming to the city of Kingsport. That's pretty spectacular. A couple of years ago, we did a citizen survey, and that survey told us that we need to start focus more attention on economic development and to also look at other ways to bring entertainment to our city. We could have easily taken that survey and set it aside and said, yeah, we know, but we didn't. We focused our attention on that tirelessly. Many announcements that have been made here today will be followed by other announcements. Other development that has taken place in the city will soon move from being a quiet conversation inside City Hall to something that we can share with the whole community. We remain focused on providing a strong vision for this city, and we remain focused to make sure that the entire region knows we're not asleep, we're wide awake. It's now my honor to recognize our mayor to close out today's remarks.
Thank you, Chris. I have a new best friend, Mr. Hull, but I'm not dropping the S off my name. And I know he's not going to add an S. But first, since I brought up Mr. Hull, this Hull Properties Group is just a collection of outstanding professionals, from Mr. Hull and Mr. Mulheron and everyone that the city's worked with their group. And you can see the mall looks great. My guess is a bunch of other things are going to want to come here. And it's just going to, all over the nation, there's malls that are closing down, but not here. I got to tread a little bit of the same ground the city manager did. We first started working with the whole group several years ago, and Jeff Fleming's out here somewhere. Jeff Fleming, our previous city manager, he helped establish this relationship, and we appreciate that. And then Chris carried it on, and when Chris was interviewed to become the city manager and replace Jeff Fleming, he told the Board of Mayor and Aldermen that he would put tremendous emphasis on economic development, and that's exactly what he's done. We got a smart city manager. We're all very happy about that. And since I brought up the BMA, all my colleagues are here, and I'll just, the order I see them in, I see Betsy Cooper, and I see Paul Montgomery, and Darrell Duncan, and James Phillips, too bad about Miami, and and the Vice Mayor, Colette George, and there's Tommy Alderman, T.O. And listen, the Board has been just totally supportive of economic development efforts. They stay on top of things, they're engaged, they give the city manager what he needs to do to operate, and it's just been a great team. There's other players that have been involved. Chris mentioned the Kingsport Economic Development Board. They're just absolutely fabulous. We appreciate what they've done, and they continue to work several projects with us. By the way, we have a ribbon cutting tomorrow for a 440 home development over in the Brickyard Village. That's at 2 o'clock tomorrow. That's an example of all the great things that KDB has helped us with. I see my friend Miles Burdine out there. The Chamber has been absolutely great. They promote Kingsport. They make it clear to people that this is a great place to live, work, and play. And it's just a wonderful partnership we have with the Chamber. As an old soldier, I guess I'm reminded of a quote that victory has 1,000 fathers, defeat is an orphan. There's no orphans here today. Everybody's a winner today. And especially there's a winner that I'm going to ask to come up here and talk now, and that's John Rose. John Rose is our Economic Development Director, and I'll tell you how smart Chris McCart is. He was smart enough to hire John. And John is doing a great job. He's a hard worker. He's smart. He digs in. He's relentless. And I really appreciate everything that John's done to help make this happen. Again, this is a great day to be in Kingsport. John, come on up.
I'll be short. My dad was a preacher, and he preached for 60 minutes on Sunday morning, so I learned to be short. First of all, some housekeeping. Presenters today and speakers will be available to the left of the stage afterwards for media interviews. So they'll be over there shortly afterward. That's where they will meet you. But a lot of people say, why the mall? And Kingsport, as you can hear from Mr. Mulhern and Chris, says, why not the mall? The mall has dedicated owners, well-maintained, and a great vision for the future. What our mall will be, it will be a regional attraction with new retail, entertainment, and restaurants. On top of that, it will become an even larger economic driver. With the announcements made today and other national retailers open up, the economic impact annually to Kingsport will exceed $25 million. That does not happen overnight. Partial funding for this, because nothing happens without a partnership and funding. We want to thank KDB for their support. We want to thank the Chamber, but we also know that this funding also comes from some of the city's hotel motel tax and from support from KDB. Kingsport is a partnership. It is a partnership with our business owners, with developers, with its residents, and people that visit here. And it is great to be part of that. We want to thank also Express AV for a wonderful job today. We want to thank the City of Kingsport's Public Information Office. I appreciate my staff for putting this together. We want to thank Jeff Geiger and the NCG family for reinvesting in Kingsport. We want to thank Jason Swanson with IMAX for seeing the potential in Kingsport. And we want to thank all of our visitors today, Board of Mayor and Aldermen, KDB, Chamber. I've said it 3 times on purpose. It is a partnership. Thanks to each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to show how much you care about Kingsport. Have a great day and a great week. Thank you.